Blueprints for 3D printed AR-15 semi-automatic rifles have been downloaded more than 2,500 times.
Ghost guns and the technology needed to make them, a 3D printer and access to the internet.
Anybody could purchase one of these on the internet. This is not regulated.
These guns require no background checks. They're undetectable. They're untraceable.
I mean, once it's out there, it's out there, isn't it?
The gun is easy to make in Europe. Fuck this dystopia. We're fucking gun control.
So right now we're somewhere in Western Europe. I can't exactly say where we are because the guy we've come here to meet has been secretly 3D printing his own assault rifles. Now obviously that is completely illegal here, gun laws are very strict, and if this guy is caught manufacturing untraceable firearms, which is what he's doing, he's going to get sent to prison for a very long time. I've spoken to him about this, he's aware of the risks, and he's agreed to meet with us anyway. So hopefully he's going to explain to us why he's 3D printing his own guns and to tell us about the network he's a part of that is helping him do this. The network is called Deterrence Dispense. They're global, all over the world, and basically their main aim is to make it impossible for authorities anywhere to stop people having a gun. This is Deterrence Dispensed. They're a decentralized 3D printed gun network. Their gun designs are freely available online and have been downloaded hundreds of thousands of times according to their spokesman. Deterrence Dispensed has been incorrectly characterized online as either a far-right organization or a political anarchist group. They're neither. In fact, they don't have any specific ideology other than unconditional free speech and the absolute freedom for anyone to own a firearm. Deterrence Dispensed are brazenly spreading these ideas and their downloadable gun instructions all over the world. There are thousands in their community, mostly based in America, where 3D printed guns are legal. However, these guns have spread to Western Europe. 3D printed semi-automatic rifles that take 9mm rounds. They're robust, they don't blow up in your hands, and they're untraceable. They can be made in someone's bedroom. At Popular Front, we managed to get access to the founder of Deterrence Dispensed, a man known as Jay Stark. He lives and operates in Europe. Jay Stark agreed to meet us on the condition that we protect his identity and exact location.
Now it is, isn't it?
So don't worry.
Which parts are plastic 3D printed and which parts are metal?
Printed, 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 printed. That's basically what you see from this side.
So about 80% of it is 3D printed.
You could say that, yeah.
Yeah.
About 80%, yeah.
So firstly explain to us why you're doing this. Why are you 3D printing untraceable firearms?
I'm of the opinion that to bear firearms is a human right. The government or the entity that has the rule over you has an executive force, the police, the military, they have firearms. To be able to escape that injustice, they need to have the same force on an individual level as the executive force of the government entity that is ruling over them. So this is my ideological reasoning. And then a different reason why I am risking everything to be able to own and bear firearms is because I am extremely enthusiastic about them. They are a hobby of mine. I'm extremely interested about its history, the technology, and there are certain circumstances in my life which are unfortunate and which make living kind of painful. And sometimes I do not have anything to look forward to. Most people usually have something that they cannot risk stuff for. But with me, I have nothing to lose. So that's why it is fairly easy for me to risk everything and to be able to accept the risk to die at any time, basically.
So you just said then, like, you know, you're willing to die for this. Like, really? Like, if the police come in here now, they raided you, you got caught somehow, like, what, you're gonna fight them or what?
Basically, yes. Live free or die. These are not empty words.
Maybe explain to us how you got into 3D printed guns. Like, what you're doing is very technical. There's a long history of 3D printed guns, like in America, for example. We're not in America. How did this all start for you?
So as you probably might know, a 3D printed pistol was shown to the world in 2013 by an entity called Defense Distributed. It's basically a company that was founded by Cody Wilson, an American from Texas who was studying for a law degree. I saw this and I was intrigued. I was living in a country, I'm still living in a country where it's even impossible for you to acquire firearms. And so if I cannot buy it through legal or illegal way, I need to build it myself. And so this Liberator pistol piqued my interest. And then at one point, I found out about how 3D printers became increasingly more cheap. And I bought my first 3D printer. And at the same time, Defense Distributed, after they released this Liberator pistol, ran some sort of web page where you were able to download various files for various gun designs, and also 3D printed gun designs. When I looked at the files, I saw that everything was incomplete. And the parts that were modeled and the technical data that was available there, was in these files, was absolutely shoddily modeled. It was absolutely not true to the real world. So it would be basically useless to try to use those files to produce any firearm. What I did then is I wanted to start a community that was enthusiastic about this topic as much as me. And so I posted Discord invite links into the comment sections of each of those various files on that webpage. The idea was to build a community. So what I wanted is an effective firearm, a firearm which I'm able to defend myself against any assailants, which I can be offensive with if there's any tyrant that wants to dictate his tyrannical laws upon me. And so I was able to start that community. I invited everyone. And my goal was to build this community who was enthusiastic about this topic as much as me. I had no technical background, like I didn't study any engineering. I never used a 3D printer. And so from that moment on, I needed to teach myself how to use CAD software. What I did was I also went on to a recruiting hunt. We ended up with a core group of a couple dozen people who had all sorts of knowledge. And so me and Ivan basically then had this goal of making an AR-15 CAD assembly happen. So we worked day and night, day and night, day and night.
So you said before you had no technical expertise, you didn't know how to do this beforehand. How did you then teach yourself to use the 3D printed software? How did you get the printer? You eventually ended up making your own like lower for the rifle. How did you do all that?
The most useful tool for this in general was the internet. The internet enabled me to do all this. I was able to learn all the information that I needed through YouTube, through Wikipedia, through various forums, and through chatting with other enthusiasts. There's one thing that you really have to take in mind here: motivation. All this information is available out there, but why isn't everybody doing it? Because they don't have the motivation to do all that. I have a fierce motivation to do all that because of the reasons that I told you already.
Okay, so let's go back to Deterrence Dispense now, right? You're saying you started this new group. You did something quite different. So when Cody Wilson was doing his thing, it was all very like centralized. He was kind of controlling it. He had the files, which you say weren't even any good. The difference of what you're doing is it's completely decentralized, right? You're putting everything out there for free. You're inviting other people to do it. And I've seen you guys saying online, you know, we're killing gun control. We're pissing on the grave of gun control. Why did you decide, like, yeah, this has got to be decentralized? We want to put it to everybody.
It absolutely makes sense to not be a single entity that is bound to a certain platform and can be destroyed at any time. The wonderful thing about our work is that we are mostly anonymous and we are sharing our knowledge and our information. So if somebody goes down, the other one continues working. You just have peer-to-peer networks. You have this globalized internet infrastructure where files cannot be censored. If they are censored at one place, they pop up at another. And that's true also for us as individuals in terms of working for the cause. If something unfortunate happens to one individual, the other individual will take his place, and so on and so forth. It's a hydra that you cannot completely kill, because as you cut off one head, the other head pops up. We're impossible to stop.
And tell us about the FGC-9. This is this rifle here, right? This one that you've constructed yourself. What's so special about this?
The FGC-9, Fuck Gun Control 9mm, is a firearm that is truly effective for self-defense, being offensive. And at the same time, it's a firearm that you're able to build yourself as an average Joe with no specialized tooling, with no special knowledge.
And the ammunition, the bullets, where do they come from?
I make the cartridges. I basically assemble them.
Can you show us?
Sure.
So explain to us, what are you doing here? Why do you have to make your own ammunition?
Basically, to get ammo in Europe, you either need to make it yourself or buy it illegally. Buying it illegally is extremely difficult. It's extremely difficult to get a hold of someone who won't scam you, who isn't law enforcement. So you have to make the ammo yourself. And so to do that, I have this priming tool.
This round here goes in this 3D printed rifle.
Exactly. Now you could do something with this one, if you wanted to. To make an FGC-9, you would need around, I'd say, 1.5 weeks to 2 weeks.
That quick?
Yes.
Whilst at his workshop, Jay Stark also showed us how he designed the FGC-9 on his computer. We can't show everything, but this was essentially the core of deterrence dispensed.
My ideology is shaped in such a way where I think this should be the reality for everyone. I'm of the opinion that freedom and liberty are more important than security, and that's why I'm risking that we have a little bit less of security for reign of freedom. I'm extremely peaceful.
So we've just got back from Jay Stark's workshop where he 3D prints his guns. What he's doing is incredible on one level, but also unbelievably dangerous. He's not just building these guns for himself, he's telling other people everybody should do this. He's trying to encourage other people to do it. Could cause a lot of mayhem, honestly. The next day, Jay Stark sent us a set of coordinates and told us to meet him there as soon as possible. He arrived with 2 FGC-9s in a bag and led us into a forest. En route, Jay Stark told us more about the reach of deterrence dispensed.
Our group, our decentralized group, is very diverse, has lots of international members, and like I already said, when we push our design files up there, it's not only for among our group, but for everybody else outside of our group. Everybody around the world, man. We try to spread the truth, man, spread the message.
Ideologically, other than the idea that everyone should own firearms, do you know, like, politically, right there, come and take it. Do you know politically what kind of people are in your group?
I mean, we roll this way. So our group stands for 2 things: freedom of speech in the right to bear arms. And people who would try to infringe these rights from a certain group, from a certain ethnic group, or from a certain political group, these people we do not like. We kind of don't like extremists because they usually start a fierce conversation, a debate. We don't like that. We actually like to discuss actual designing firearms, actually advancing the cause, actually focusing on the actual proper things and not about politics. But in general, we do not like racists, we do not like xenophobes. We just like people who just are for the cause of the right to bear arms and for freedom of speech.
Right, and do you do some kind of vetting process or something?
So basically, we let everybody in, but if they act up, we kick them.
So just hypothetically here, bear with me. Imagine somehow a member of ISIS just entered your group. They didn't speak about politics. They didn't say anything, but they added, say they were like, oh, we're helping you build the rifles. I mean, what, you would just let them stay or what?
Look, if we have no idea that the extremists or racists or ISIS, how the fuck would we tell if they're actually that? Like, if they never talk about politics, if they never show any indication of xenophobia or being zealots, how the fuck are we supposed to know that we have to kick them out? But if they do show through that they are extremists, racist, Islamic terrorists, then we would kick them out and immediately basically stop all work and all communication with them.
But you don't think it's dangerous to not already know? Like, those guys might be in your group, you have no
What you
idea.
have to realize is the advancement of technology has no politics. And the atom bomb, chemical weapons, DIY rocket launchers, IEDs, whatever, if it's bad or good technology, it has no politics. So I don't really see the point in your question.
So you don't really care about who's in or who's not?
We do care.
But if you don't know, then it's like...
That's the internet. Everybody can hide behind a certain persona. And they can stay hidden for a long time with their real identity. And only after they reveal themselves, you can actually take action.
You were saying you don't want extremists. Some people will see this and they'll think you're an extremist. Maybe not an Islamic extremist, maybe not a right-wing or whatever, but they will think you're some kind of gun extremist. I mean, what would you say to that?
So if other people see us as extremists, that's okay. But what I can tell is, we do not want harm to anyone. We want everyone to live peacefully amongst each other. And we want people to have the freedom of speech, the right to bear arms. And if that's too politically extreme for you, fuck yourself. All your rights could go away like that. And that's why I need to wake people up. And we need to go onto the offensive, because people are asleep on this issue. They are not realizing what's at stake here. That gun control is getting stricter and stricter, and governments are getting more tyrannical. China's already a fucking living nightmare. We gotta go on the offensive, man. Time is running out. It's an extreme dystopia out there.
Shall we keep going? Let's go. Apparently, it was time to test fire the rifles.
I'm on fire. We're ready hot. We're hot.
Christ. How do you feel firing that now?
Shooting it yourself out in the open instead of just a basement or something, that's a really cool thing to do. And smelling the gunpowder that has burned.
It didn't blow your hands off. Do you know what is weird though for me to see how we went from your little workshop, 3D printed, it's gone from the workshop, seeing you crimp the ammo, and now seeing it fired, it's almost like, wow, it's real. That would kill someone, that could kill a lot of people.
Just like this.
Got peppered with casings. Yep, just like that, yeah, just like that.
The point is, the only way I can guarantee my rights
Yeah.
is by being able to protect myself against others who want to take my right away.
It's completely untraceable, right? There's no serial numbers, no nothing.
No serial numbers, no nothing.
Yeah. You could attack someone with that as well, though.
I could, and I also could protect myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could protect myself.
Sure. Or attack.
Great power comes great responsibility. And it is unfair to take away the people's power because you think they do not are worthy of having that power.
Do you think you have a responsibility for who owns the gun?
I have a responsibility to make sure everybody has the option to be able to get a gun.
What about the way they use it?
The way they use it is up to them. If they want to do harm, it's on them. And once they did harm, then they forfeited their belonging in the peaceful community. There are extremists out there who are saying extremist phrases and they are inciting hate. They should have freedom of speech. If I do not fight for the freedom of speech of somebody else who I do not agree with, then the next day somebody else will take away my freedom of speech. That's the same idea with the right to bear arms.
Right, but you can't kill someone with freedom of speech. You can kill someone with that.
It's not about killing somebody. It's about you yourself, protecting you yourself, and protecting you yourself from tyranny. Just look at the Uyghurs in China. Just look what's happening to them. Nobody's helping them. Nobody does shit. You know what would help them? If they were armed. That would be deterrence. That's what you do. Deterrence dispensed. Fuck all these governments who take away the right to bear arms. Fuck all of those. Fuck the surveillance state. Fuck this dystopia. We're fucking gun control. And by that, we're fucking authoritarian regimes.
Likelihood a police officer who's going to see this when it goes out is probably going to make a splash. I mean, they're going to want to find you. What's your thoughts on that?
They're the goons of the state. They're just doing the dirty work with the politicians. But if they want to take my life away, if they want to take my rights away, I'm not going to go down without any fight.
And would you say you're encouraging people? Like you want other people to do what you're doing?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Just look at the world, man.
You don't think that's like reckless at all?
No. If the government actually went extremely tyrannical, look at fucking Afghanistan, look at fucking Vietnam, look how it was. You only need a fucking AK, some ammo, and sheer will to fucking take down the machine. And you see what I'm talking about? Like, come on, give me better arguments, man.
No, right. But okay, here's a better argument. Imagine if someone 3D printed what you've created and then shot someone you love for no reason.
That wouldn't affect you. That is something that I have to accept.
Really?
It's a risk that I have to accept. Fuck that shit. It's about universal rights. Just like saying, because somebody cussed me out and my feelings are hurt, the freedom of speech should no longer exist.
It's not the same as that. There's killing. Killing is the ultimate act of taking some fucking
Freedom
right.
of speech. It's so essential.
This is not speech.
It is to protect my freedom of speech. Do you not understand how this principle works? To protect all other human rights, you need something to protect these rights. Without the ability to protect yourselves and without to fight against some tyrannical force, how the fuck are you gonna keep your fucking rights, man? Think about it.
That's the way you see it, huh?
I mean, that's what it is. Just look at the fucking world. Everything else is cowardice.
I mean, to you do this all the time. To me, it's shocking, you know? It's been made so easily, really. I mean, now I know you're very good technically, but with your instructions, I could learn this. Anyone could learn this.
Totally could. Any average Joe could learn this in a matter of weeks. Components you can buy everywhere else online, and then you can make your own ammo, even in this fucking dystopia of Europe. And the gun you can make anyway. I mean, the gun is easy to make in Europe. Live free or fucking die.
Jay Stark is by far one of the most dangerous people I've ever met, and his extremist firearms ideology is spreading. We know for a fact that he's not the only one building so-called downloadable guns in Europe with the help of deterrence dispensed. Meanwhile, authorities seem to have little understanding of how advanced 3D printed guns have gotten. As we've seen, they shoot rapidly and they don't explode when firing. As Jay Stark says, deterrence dispense technology could be used to combat authoritarian regimes, but it could also easily fall into the wrong hands, and if it does, many innocent people could die.
I mean, once it's out there,
It's out there.
it's out there, isn't it?
It's out there, isn't it? It's out there, isn't it?